Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, the site of one of the most pivotal battles in the American Civil War. Millions of people visit this town every year to immerse themselves in the beauty and history of these fields. But recent years have seen travelers seeking out Gettysburg for a more unusual reason: ghosts. Gettysburg has become a must-see location for believers in spirits and the supernatural. And businesses that cater to those seeking the unexplained have found a home here. Over the next hour, we will delve into the world of paranormal tourism. Find out why so many of us love to be frightened, and explore our culture's fascination with all things ghosts. Please join me for Paranormal Tourism of Gettysburg and the Thrill of Fear. July 1st, 1863. Union and Confederate forces clash in the town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. By the time night falls on the 3rd, Union Major General George Meade's Army of the Potomac has defeated Confederate General Robert E. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia, and an estimated 51,000 men lie dead or wounded. Over time, Gettysburg has grown and changed.
There's a great cultural scene here, food scene, even outdoor recreation. But the Civil War is always going to be our biggest draw.
And the events of the battle are still what lure people here today.
Gettysburg and Adams County have been able to really become one of those iconic destinations. People will know us from around the world because of the Civil War history.
Reenactors in period dress are a common sight in the town full of museums and monuments. It's all a way to rub elbows with the past, to see where the figures from our history books lived and died. But many guests believe those soldiers lost during the Battle of Gettysburg still remain here.
My first encounter with a spirit as a child, I saw a ghost dog, and I was the only one who saw this particular entity. My parents thought it was my imagination.
Jolene Spooky Riley is one of these believers.
And years later, as a teenager, I had a number of other encounters that led me down a more serious path of paranormal research.
In Gettysburg, she was able to turn her captivation with ghosts and spirits into a career. Jolene is the manager and headlining ghost tour guide at Gettysburg Ghost Tours, as well as the founder of the Gettysburg Paranormal Association.
Gettysburg is known mainly for two things: history and ghosts, not necessarily in that order. I consider Gettysburg the ghost mecca of the world, and I think that people flock here because it's such a great town rich in history, but also has been flagged as a paranormal community.
And around Halloween, that community grows much larger.
This is one of our busiest times of the year. People would assume that July with the anniversary, but October is actually one of our busiest months.
Yes, it's Halloween in Gettysburg, and after the trick-or-treaters head home, people flock to paranormal businesses.
We get non-believers, we get people that are so into it that they just come back time and time again to do the same tour.
We never know who's walking through that door. Every tour, every ghost hunt, there's no saying what's going to happen, not necessarily ghost-wise. We get a variety of people with a variety of different levels of experience and interest. We get the hardcore paranormal enthusiast. We have the budding hobbyists who are looking to start their own groups. And then we have families that just want to scare their kids. So we get a variety of different people through.
I find it fascinating, especially like places like Gettysburg, because I consider them to be residual haunts. The people died so quickly and so violently that I don't think most of them even know they're actually dead. And it's actually intelligent. It's just like a rewinding of a cassette tape. It replays itself in the right conditions over and over again. They don't know you're there. You don't know that they're there.
People look at this with, honestly, I think with skepticism, which is fine. Being analytical is a benefit, not so much a detriment. I think that people who are somewhat skeptical in nature, when they do have an encounter or have something that they can't explain occur, they seem to get more excited than the people who are coming in the door on the onset very excited. We want to get a good scare. A number of people claim they want to see a spirit. Once they do, they take off running, which I don't understand that. It's like getting on a roller coaster, but you want to, push the envelope. And I think people who enjoy paranormal experiences, I think, have the same mindset. They're thrill seekers in a sense. They want to explore this, and they want a good scare.
State Penitentiary, I went the first year in 2008 to do the Terror Behind the Walls haunted tour. And I was walking down the center to what's the rotunda, the center hub of the prison. I looked down to one cell block, and I swear I saw the shadow of a human walk from the left side of the cell block across the hallway into the right side. No one down there. The riot gates were closed, and everything was off limits.
For others, delving into the paranormal is about more than experiencing a thrill.
We actually have a spirit in our house. You can roll it passed away. It definitely looked like the son of the first owner. So I know he's there. Plus I know my brother.
I think a number of us want to connect and see that life doesn't necessarily end. There's something else out there.
One thing all of these people have in common is that they have come for ghost stories.
I just really like to entertain, and I think the art of storytelling is so very important to pass information and history on to future generations, and I love working with people, and of course ghosts intrigue me, so being able to use all of that in the role that I have here as a trade is a blessing for me. I'm very fortunate.
And no one knows Gettysburg ghost stories quite like Mark Nesbitt, author of the Ghosts of Gettysburg book series and founder of Mark Nesbitt's Ghosts of Gettysburg Candlelit Walking Tours.
All my books start off with the history of the haunted site. And then I will tell the ghost story, because that first of all, I can't help myself. I like the history. And second, it's to me, it's better when you have the history of a site and then you tell the ghost story. If you don't, it's just like somebody, you're walking down the street and somebody jumps out of the bushes and yells, "Boo!" You're scared for 2 seconds.
He became interested in the paranormal due to experiences he had as a battlefield guide.
Well, I was a park ranger here at Gettysburg, and the first thing that interested me when I started thinking about ghosts was I lived in a lot of the houses that are out on the battlefield, the pretty historic houses. They put rangers in there to, for security. And I lived in 4 of them, and every one of them I had a weird experience that I couldn't really explain. Babies crying in the cemetery lodge. I couldn't, and I'd go into the coffee room and say, I had a weird experience with the other day at the cemetery lodge, and they'd say, "Well, you need to talk to the person who lived there before you." And I talked to them, and sure enough, they would have had a similar experience. So the little wheel started turning. I'm thinking, what's going on here? All my guides do the stories, tell the stories from my books. And so there's a little bit of history in the beginning of every one of their stories.
Although visitors are not allowed on the battlefield after dark, ghost tour guides are able to lead guests through some of the supposedly haunted locations in town. This includes the building that was once an orphanage for those left parentless after the war, the Jenny Wade House, home to the only civilian killed during the Battle of Gettysburg, and various homes and businesses that have stood since the battle.
On the traditional Black Cat tour for 8:15.
No matter which haunted location viewers choose to see, Gettysburg ghost tour guides know the chilling stories that rest in each part of their historic town. While modern supernatural television programs have fueled Gettysburg's paranormal tourism industry, ghost stories were being circulated many years beforehand. Digging into the records of the Adams County Historical Society can show that tales of paranormal activity in Gettysburg began earlier than one would think. In fact, the following ghost encounter was said to have happened 30 years before the Battle of Gettysburg even took place. In 1905, the Gettysburg Star and Sentinel newspaper printed an account of a ghostly visitation that supposedly happened in August of 1833. In the article, Mr. John Swope, an apprentice at a saddle factory, and, quote, very upright young man of unblemished reputation, claimed to be visited on several occasions by a spirit. It visited him again when he was in the presence of 2 friends, one of whom drew a pistol and threatened to shoot the ghost if the man did not give an account of himself. The spirit indicated that the men should follow him to a particular spot in a field. They were told to dig there on a certain night to find buried money, and in doing so, would secure rest for the wandering shade. But when they did dig, they found nothing. Perhaps one of the men decided to visit the location early so as not to share, or perhaps even ghosts like to play jokes on the unsuspecting. Or maybe it's just a story. Another story of a ghost on the battlefield of Gettysburg was being told even before the battle had reached its end. The following was spoken by Colonel of the 20th Maine Regiment, Joshua Chamberlain.
In a moment, the whole corps was in marching order. Rest, rations, earth itself forgotten. One thought, to be first on the Gettysburg Road. The iron-faced veterans were transformed to boys. They insisted on starting out with the colors flying so that even the night might know that the manner of men were coming to redeem the day. All things, even the most common, were magnified and made mysterious by that strange spell of night. Now from a dark angle of the roadside came a whisper. Whether from eerily or unearthly voice, one cannot feel quite certain that the august form of George Washington had been seen that afternoon at the sunset riding over the Gettysburg hills. Let no one smile at me. I half believe it myself. So did the powers of the other world draw nigh.
And all the fun of swapping ghost stories by the fire, taking a ghostly tour, or investigating haunted locations, it is important to remember the true cost of the Battle of Gettysburg. When Abraham Lincoln stood in this cemetery and delivered his Gettysburg Address, he said, "We cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men living and dead who struggled here have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract." Many still see the fields of Gettysburg, where so many young men fought and lost their lives, as hallowed ground. Many who come here speak in whispers, despite there being no one near for them to disturb. Survivors of the battle knew to be respectful when walking those fields, for the sake of those who passed on, and those who may remain. Chamberlain was not the only man who fought at Gettysburg and believed that spirits might be present on those fields. For John Burns, the moniker, the hero of Gettysburg, was not easily earned. When the battle began, the 69-year-old civilian left the safety of his Gettysburg home to join in fighting the Confederate soldiers. Over the course of the next 3 days, he was wounded and captured, but would survive the battle to become a national celebrity. In the aftermath of the war, he was visited by reporters, photographers, and even Abraham Lincoln. In Timothy H. Smith's biography, John Burns, the Hero of Gettysburg, he was described as a man most comfortable with the lofty title. The book also relates a conversation he had with a Mr. Samuel Bates in 1875. With all his heroism, Burns was not a man without spark of superstition, Bates would later say. He believed in apparitions. John Burns told Samuel Bates about a time after the war when he was passing over the battlefield alone, when a Confederate soldier appeared before him. He was, Burns said, a man of intense proportion, and the very image of one whom I had seen on the day of the battle, in the very spot, in the exact same attitude. "Did you speak to it?" he was asked. "No, sir, I did not," he replied. "It beckoned me towards him, but I turned and left the ground as rapidly as I could, and have not been back on that field since." He said that he could face them alive and respond to their challenge. But when dead men come back, he is not for that style of warfare. When it comes to tales of spirits and hauntings, there will always be believers and skeptics. But just because someone doesn't believe in ghost stories doesn't mean they can hold no value for them. That is the position of author Sally M. Barish. The Adams County native collected ghost stories through her entire life and compiled them into her book, Haunts of Adams and Other Counties. 39 ghostly tales were published in 1972. She believed that ghost stories, like folklore and legends, should be preserved. Barish told the Patriot News in the November 26, 1972 issue,
"They are part of history and reflect on the culture of the people. It's impossible to authenticate a ghost story. I just record them before they're lost."
In the foreword to Haunts of Adams and Other Counties, she says,
"Believing in the subject of ghosts is like believing in religion. Who can dare to say who's right? The following ghost stories are merely that, just stories repeated as legends to be accepted or not, as you wish, but hopefully you'll enjoy them."
Over the years, ghost stories remained a part of Gettysburg, but it was the town itself that instigated the creation of the first Gettysburg ghost tour.
Well, I started with the ghost books. Ghosts of Gettysburg came out in 1991, and after I think the second book, actually a borough official, Gettysburg borough official, approached me and he said, I've been to England and almost every little town has a ghost tour. We're having a problem in Gettysburg because everybody is staying down on Steinway Avenue and not coming into our beautiful restored little town here. Do you think you could develop a ghost tour that would bring people around the town of Gettysburg itself and show off some of our pretty buildings and businesses and that type of thing? I said, sure, why not? And so the first tour left from the square, first ghost tour, June 4th, 1994. And that's where it all got started.
And the paranormal tourism industry has only grown from there, to become almost as much a part of this town as the battlefield. Mankind has been telling ghost stories since before the written word. Most ancient people across the globe believed in an afterlife, and while the details of the afterlife varied from culture to culture, it was accepted that it was possible for the souls of the dead to return to the world of the living. Perhaps they received improper burial rites, or received no burial at all. Maybe they had unfinished business, or were seeking revenge on those who killed them. Regardless of the reason, the dead were meant to remain in the afterlife, and the appearance of a spirit was not a pleasant occasion, but a signal that something had gone wrong. Over time, ghost stories transferred to written works. In 1st century AD, Roman author Plinty the Younger recorded the first notable ghost stories. He described the spirit of an old man with a long beard and rattling chains that was occupying his Athens home. In addition to supposedly true accounts, ghost fictions were created to teach and entertain. In Homer's Odyssey, the hero Odysseus traveled to the underworld and encountered the shades of the dead. Among them are one of his fallen crew members and his own mother. Ghostly characters played a role in William Shakespeare's Macbeth. Julius Caesar, Richard III, and Hamlet.
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain time to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast in fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burned and purged away.
In 1705, writer Daniel Defoe, best known as the author of Robinson Crusoe, scribed a famous pamphlet entitled A True Relation of the Apparition of One Mrs. Veal. The story describes Mrs. Bargrave's encounter with her old friend, Mrs. Veal, while Mrs. Bargrave is unaware that dear Mrs. Veal had died the day previously.
Says Mrs. Veal, "Dear Mrs. Bargrave, if the eyes of our faith were as open as the eyes of our body, we should see numbers of angels about us for our guard. The notions we have of heaven now are nothing like what it is. And, believe me, my dear friend, believe what I say to you, 1 minute of future happiness will infinitely reward you for all your sufferings."
As technology has advanced, so has the way ghost stories are told. It seems storytellers have embraced all forms of media to tell a ghostly tale. For generations, they have been written in books and pamphlets, with live actors captured on film using animation. Ghosts are on television, in magazines, and on the radio.
Inner Sanctum Mysteries, starring Boris Karloff. Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host to welcome you through the squeaking door into the land of ghosts, vampires, and other gay, hilarious people. Friends, are you looking for an apartment? Well, we have just the place for you. It's sturdily built, completely of marble. You don't have to worry about the landlord putting you out. The lease is forever. All you have to do to get this little love nest is call your undertaker and get yourself a little bit dead.
Mr. Host, I assure you no one is the least bit interested in your offer.
Modern Americans have more access to media options than ever before, and ghosts haven't gone anywhere. The internet is full of bloggers sharing theories, foolish encounters, and photographic evidence. The blog The Science of Ghosts showcases a collection of spirits caught on camera. At Talk Paranormal, people can join in the forum to communicate on topics from I live with a ghost to Shadow Man, please help.
Anything Ghost, Mega Macabre, Halloween Special.
You can listen to Anything Ghost podcast, where listeners send in their recordings of their true ghost stories in hopes of having it selected.
I always had a strange feeling in that house, especially when I was alone. It didn't matter what part of the house I was in. I felt uneasy, almost as if someone were constantly watching me.
Lex Wall introduces several different submitted recordings each episode, guaranteed to give subscribers the creeps.
Whether I was facing the wall or I could see out, I had my back against the wall, you'd see this being, this woman. I wouldn't even call her a woman. She was a hag walking towards you. And even if you didn't see her, you knew she was coming to you. You weren't hiding, and she wasn't searching. You were just there, and she was going to get you.
Perhaps you would like to learn from authors in the supernatural field. Then you can check out the Paranormal podcast.
This is the Paranormal Podcast with Jim Harold.
First up, we have Hannah Nordhaus. We're going to talk about her bestseller, American Ghost. And then we're going to have Dr. Richard House talking about his recent book, Between Now and When, How My Death Made My Life Worth Living.
My great-great-grandmother, Julia Staub, is said to be a ghost, a quite famous ghost in Santa Fe, New Mexico. You know, once you get sucked into the rabbit hole of ghost hunting, it's hard to climb out.
There are even shows by Gettysburg locals in the paranormal industry, like the Gettysburg Ghost Gals show on Blog Talk Radio.
We've investigated, as we said earlier in the broadcast, Deanna's house several times. We got some pretty amazing things out of her house, some really good EVPs. But you know, it's an active home. I definitely, as the scientific person, I felt that whatever was in the house was primarily strong.
Ghostly creepypastas can spread like wildfire online. Creepypastas are internet horror stories that get passed around from site to site, with the purpose of terrifying and disturbing readers. The term creepypasta comes from the phrase copypasta, which is internet slang for a block of text that has been copied and pasted all over the internet. In one tale, a man checked into a hotel room. The room had an extra door which the worker insisted was a locked storage room. When he looked through the keyhole, he saw another bedroom, with a woman inside facing away. When he looked again the next day, all he could see was something red filling up the entire space. When he inquired about it, the woman at the desk told him the other room was haunted by a murdered woman, a woman with red eyes. In another, there is a website called blindmaiden.com. It is dedicated to a doomed spirit. It is only possible to reach the site under specific conditions, but if someone manages, the maiden will haunt their home. The actual blindmaiden.com does not feature a vengeful spirit, but instead, window blinds. Over time, where these stories originate from can be lost, turning some of the most chilling of them into urban legends. Creepypastas have been circulated in countless photoshopped images, stories, videos, and even video games.
Oh my god, that was so scary.
Horror is its own genre of video games.
Of death that only I could see. I could feel them surrounding me, and since then, death has been by my side.
In the Fatal Frame series, the heroine must navigate a ghost-filled environment with just her camera to protect her. These ghosts really don't like to be photographed.
Fear is a basic human emotion. What frightens you more? The evil that you know? Or the evil that you don't know?
In the Fear series, players are faced with the spirit of a psychic child. In games like these, extreme effort is taken to create a frightful atmosphere that will have players jumping out of their seats. Ghouls can also be found in lighter gaming fare.
Mario!
In Luigi's Mansion, spirits must be fought off with the help of what is essentially a vacuum cleaner. Ghosts are a prevalent antagonist in a lot of video games, and have been for a very long time. They can also be protagonists, like in the interactive drama Beyond Two Souls, where a CIA agent finds herself tethered to a spirit.
Ever since I was born, I've been linked to an entity.
The spirit in question is nice enough to use his powers to help her on her missions. Our culture's love of ghosts has even found its way to the App Store. There are a plethora of haunted house games here. This is Can You Escape the Haunted Evil Ghost Castle 2. Players maneuver around creepy locations to try and find an exit. Download one of the many ghost detectors to locate spirits around you.
Ghost signal required.
Keep in mind, these serve more of an entertainment purpose than a scientific one. Creep out your friends with ghoulish sound effects? Or even hide your phone to spook them with disembodied whispers. Insert ghosts into all your photos. There's even an app to capture your own spirit leaving your body. Just across the border from Pennsylvania to Maryland, you will find Crumland Farms. During autumn days, it's an idyllic piece of rural paradise. With pumpkins to pick, hay bales to climb on, and activities for the whole family. But when night falls, Crumland attracts a different crowd. It's opening day of Screamland, a series of terrifying attractions that operate on these grounds every Halloween season.
We have different attractions that have many different people that will scare the crap out of you.
Here at Screamland we have 5 haunts. We have the Barn of Bedlam, which is where I am. We have the Corrupted Corn. We have the Haunted Woods. We have Zombie Paintball. And we have new this year, the Escape Room.
These professional scarers are preparing to give their first guests an experience they will never forget. But first, they need to get into character.
I love Halloween. Halloween is my favorite holiday. So I love the idea of being able to get into character, and you gotta really make sure that you become that character. We get makeup done. That's really the first thing, just getting all dressed up and ready.
I'm in a morgue, so I kind of just lay on a table and then I get up and then I scare people.
My character this year is I'm a voodoo priestess. I'm the main character in the barn this year. This is the voodoo room. This is my pride and joy right here. My role is to put a spell on people so they go through the barn and they're under this spell. Very, very spooky. Got to change it up, become my character more.
So what attracts people to an occupation so spooky?
It's fun. I love scaring people.
I love all things Halloween. Like, my daily life is everything Halloween. I heard about a haunted house and I was like, I had no idea it was a thing. I was like, oh, okay, I wanted to be a part of this. I guess what attracted me was the haunt life. I mean, I live the haunt life every day, so might as well incorporate it into a job that I absolutely love doing.
Oh, it is fun. You get to see the look on people's faces when you scare them. It's just different reactions from everyone.
I absolutely love scaring people. We actually keep lists of like people that we make pee their pants. We keep tally on like how many people we fall on the floor.
I love watching people fall over and cry and scream because they're so scared.
The best reaction, honestly, was from last year. I had this really tall guy. He came into my scene and like he backed into me and he fell flat out on the floor. And he looked up at his group and he's like, we got to get out of here. And he bolted for the end of my scene.
I've been punched in the face a few times just because they've been so scared, but that's fine. They're making somebody pee themselves. So my goal is 3 more this season.
I do plan on doing this for a very, very long time.
And there's no shortage of people willing to pay to be terrified.
Tickets stop selling at 7:45 around that time. and then it can run all the way to midnight, even later.
Later in the season, it gets to be pretty. There's a lot of people that come through here. There's weekends that we are here until 2 o'clock in the morning, and we stop selling tickets at 9:30.
But why are some people willing to pay to be terrified? The answer may be in our own biology. Fear is the body's response to a perceived threat. So say you encounter a ghostly figure. This will likely trigger your body's fight or flight response. The brain will process what you are experiencing, beginning in the amygdala and then the hypothalamus. Then the pituitary gland will secrete endocorticotropic hormone. That will stimulate the release of hormones cortisol and adrenaline. They are responsible for the physical effects most people feel during the fight or flight response. These effects are activated to prepare the body in anticipation of running or fighting. These may include an increased heart rate and higher blood pressure to escalate blood flow to the muscles that supply energy. Non-essential body systems are temporarily shut down. This may include the digestive system and saliva production. The bowels and bladder may also open to reduce the need for these internal functions. Veins dilate to increase the flow of blood and oxygen that can cause facial flushing, and dilated pupils let more light into the eye to improve vision. But why would anyone seek to trigger these effects on purpose?
People who want to scream, they like the adrenaline rush of getting scared and getting things popped in their face and getting their senses interrupted. People love that.
It's the thrill of it, really. Same thing with horror movies, except you are put in that situation. Like, you are put into a scene or sets where you are in the horror movie. You are part of that horror movie, and I feel that's why people come and they enjoy it.
Adrenaline rush.
I think they just want to see what's really up the alley. It's fun to get scared, I guess. So come to get scared.
I'm not good with scary stuff, and I want to test my limits.
Okay.
I did it because I wanted to. I didn't want to do it alone.
Well, the after effects of the fight or flight response can be appealing. The sudden boost in strength and energy, combined with the release of endorphins, the body's natural painkiller, can leave a person feeling unstoppable, like they could take on anything. When we are scared, our bodies also release dopamine, which controls the reward and pleasure center of the brain. The amount of dopamine released varies from person to person, and may explain why some people are more inclined to enjoy a good fright. Although thrill seekers beware. Repeated exposure to the same fear stimuli can cause you to build up a tolerance, meaning less dopamine is being released. Bigger scares and more extreme thrills will be needed to have the same effect. This rush is the reason why people go skydiving, ride roller coasters, and visit haunted houses. But would our professional scarers be willing to walk through their own haunted house?
Personally, yes, I love being frightened, but sometimes I get way too scared. Sometimes I can't deal with like the bigger attractions. Like, I came in here myself as a customer and I freaked out. It was crazy. I don't know if I'd do it again.
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would. I'm not scared of anything.
Actually, I don't know, because sometimes I scare myself in there, or like I'll get scared by like when customers come in. I've been scared a few times because they come around the corner when I least expect it. So I don't know if I would be able to do it.
No, absolutely not. I am absolutely one of those people that is terrified of everything that is spooky. I'm a very jumpy person. Like, I don't even go through the entire barn when there's actors not in here during the day when we're like building. Last year, I saw one scene and I was like, I'm not walking through the rest of this barn. It's not a thing. It's not happening.
Head to your scene. Do not go to somebody else's scene. Go to yours. So we can do a walkthrough and get everyone customers going through.
Looks like it's showtime there at Screamland. Time to leave our scarers to their work.
Bye-bye.
Yes, there is money to be made by scaring people. And the most profitable place to do it is Hollywood. Horror movies are big business. In the 5 years from 2009 to 2014, horror movies alone sold over 321 million tickets. So why do so many shell out their hard-earned cash to watch the characters on the silver screen face nightmarish situations?
Assuming that you're not a sadist. We're not talking about that kind of person. But I think you're a normal person who likes scary things. Likes them because they're safe. You like the arousal that you get by being scared in a situation where you know there's really not any danger of you actually being hurt.
No, I love scary movies. The gorier the better.
So why do some like horror movies, but not haunted houses?
Well, you know the horror movie's not going to touch you. It's completely safe. It's there on the screen somewhere. Who knows what could happen in a haunted house?
But I like scary movies. I enjoy being scared in that way, where it's controlled. When I have no control, that's completely different.
There's an example of a person who doesn't really believe that the haunted house is necessarily completely safe. Therefore, it's not fun.
The question of why people like scary stories has been asked for a very long time. The philosopher Aristotle never got a chance to visit a movie theater, but noticed that people were attracted to frightening stories and violent plays. He believed that they allowed listeners and viewers to purge their negative emotions in a process called catharsis. But that doesn't explain why so many people find the process of watching a scary movie to be fun. Psychoanalysts like Sigmund Freud thought gory tales brought forth the thoughts of the primitive id that are usually suppressed by the ego, or more civilized part of the mind. The excitation transfer theory argues that all of these negative emotions make it better when the hero triumphs at the end. But in many horror movies, it is the villain that is successful.
What's going on? Hey, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. What's going on with the window?
In many scary films, it is clear that the jerky characters are going to meet an untimely end.
Important business meeting in Boston this morning at 9 o'clock, and I forbid you to fly us into some whistle-stop main airport!
The dispositional alignment theory believes that horror lovers just enjoy watching some of those characters get what they have coming. Scary movies are expected to trigger horror, but can they also spark romance? The gender socialization theory, also referred to as the snuggle theory, argues that the genre allows people to fall into traditional gender roles. An experiment with teenage boys found that they enjoyed a horror movie more when they saw it with a girl who was visibly frightened. When the experiment was repeated with girls, they found that they enjoyed the movie less when the male companion was frightened, and preferred when the boy was unrattled by the film.
There's actually a study in which researchers showed couples pictures of people of the opposite sex. If the couples were not romantically involved and they just come out of a haunted house, right, they rated the pictures, the attractiveness of the pictures that are being shown to people of the opposite sex, they rated them more highly than they did if they had not just come out of the haunted house. And so there's this state of arousal, and certain kinds of experiences apparently become more enjoyable when you still have that. You're no longer being scared, but you've still got that arousal level high.
All of these theories attempt to explain aspects of our culture's love of spooky cinema, but none of them quite give a definitive explanation. Dr. Glenn D. Waters believes that there are three main factors to why people find horror films alluring. First is tension that is caused by suspense, mystery, or shock. Second, there is relevance. The film has to be relevant to viewers in some way. This can include utilizing universal fears like death and the unknown. And finally, unrealism. In 1994, a study was done on disgust. A group of students were shown some gruesome documentaries. Few could make it to the end of the viewing, but many profitable films are much gorier than the footage shown. The difference is that no matter how realistic a movie seems, the viewer knows that everything they are seeing isn't really happening. They are edited with camera shots, music, and the people you see being dispatched, you will see on television being interviewed tomorrow.
We had consultants on.
And knowing that in the back of your mind makes going along for the ride okay. Ghosts have always been a go-to antagonist in horror movies. In fact, 8 of the top 10 highest-grossing horror movies of all time feature ghosts.
Sometimes the world of the dead gets mixed up with the world of the living.
The whole time I was in that house, I felt something was wrong.
We have a lot of spirits in here, but there's one that I'm most worried about because it is so hateful.
I see dead people walking around like regular people.
I don't see anything. Are you sure they're there?
Allegedly true paranormal stories seem to be a staple of modern television. And programs showcasing investigations into the unexplained continue to draw viewers. One of the first of these programs was 1977's In Search Of. Host Leonard Nimoy guided viewers through investigations of mysterious subjects each week, from Bigfoot to the Bermuda Triangle, aliens to Atlantis, and yes, ghosts.
What was it? And why did it come?
Each episode opened with the disclaimer.
This series presents information based in part on theory and conjecture. The producer's purpose is to suggest some possible explanations, but not necessarily the only ones, to the mysteries we will examine.
That the ghost wanders in its restless limbo until relieved of whatever its burden is. The best way to learn more about ghosts is to consult a ghost hunter.
Many other television programs have followed in Search Of's footsteps. Today's ghost reality shows vary, but one of the most common types is the paranormal investigation show. In these programs, a group of investigators, or ghost hunters, spend the night in a supposedly haunted location and try to capture evidence of a ghostly presence.
I've worked with ghost hunters a couple times when they came to Gettysburg.
Thanks for meeting up with us, Mark. My pleasure.
And once when we had a speaking engagement in Richmond together. Ghost Adventures was in here, so I worked with them.
Investigators utilize microphones to pick up on voices of the departed.
Okay, but this is the full recording. You need to come on out of the corners, out of the shadows. Give me your name.
Oh,
EMF meters, an instrument that reads the fluctuation in electromagnetic fields that ghost hunters believe spirits emit.
Dude, that flashed back there. What did? The bear just flashed.
The bear is an EMF bear. It has EMFs inside. Oh! Did it again. Just did it again.
And night vision cameras, because what self-respecting ghost would appear with the lights on?
I mean, we've always been a little bit afraid of the dark. And I think that's part of it. That's why all the TV programs do things at night. There is no rule book for ghosts, at least that I know of, that says, yeah, you can only go out after dark. Okay, that's ridiculous. I have collected 1,200 stories, paranormal ghost stories. Half of them happen during the day.
Gettysburg is home to many of its own paranormal investigators, both private groups and commercial ones. Jolene Riley's Gettysburg Paranormal Association is one of these companies that allow tourists to tag along in their investigations, and she has noticed how popular paranormal investigation television shows have become.
Many ghost hunter shows flock here to put on production, so I think it's certainly made its mark on the map.
Gettysburg is a popular location for shows like these.
Gettysburg, brother. Are you kidding me? It's amazing. Just the history and everything else.
We're in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. This is one of the most active paranormal hotspots in the world.
On this episode,
4 years
of Haunted Collector.
Welcome to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Barry and Brad, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, on the battlefield, believe it or not.
It's most haunted live Gettysburg. Remember, in less than 2 hours' time, we are planning a seance at the Jenny Wade house right here in Gettysburg.
But are these shows trustworthy?
Well, having worked with, for example, Jason Hawes on one of the ones that they did here in Gettysburg, they actually brought their evidence to me during the reveal, because I was the client. I wanted to know if there were child ghosts in Gettysburg, and they showed me probably 8 clips. 2 or 3 of them, I said, I don't think that is. I think that's a shadow, or I think it's this, or I think it's that. I don't think that. And they actually took, my advice and didn't show them on the program, which tells me that they wanted something that was legitimate.
Great, yeah, this has been awesome. Thanks for having us out.
Sure. My pleasure. Thanks, guys, for coming.
Mark Nesbitt has even had investigators examine his own building and received this photo, taken in the same room in which his interview was conducted. Then there are medium shows. Mediums are people who can mediate communication between spirits of the dead and living people.
I see dead people. They're all messed up looking. I speak to dead people.
What's going on?
I'm experiencing 20 to 30 deaths. He's angry, very, very angry. And they speak to me.
Mankind has been trying to contact the other side since recorded history, but the practice of mediumship reached the height of popularity in the 19th century with the rise of spiritualism. Mediums claimed that spirits would possess them to communicate with those present, or that they could hear spirits and relay information. Some even involved seances with spirits materializing and speaking for themselves. But mediumship fell out of widespread favor with the investigations revealing massive amounts of fraud. Many practitioners were caught using techniques made popular by stage magicians. Magicians of the day helped to uncover fraudulent mediums, including the famous Harry Houdini. Proclaimed medium Daniel Douglas Home was caught slipping off his shoe and using his toes to ring bells and pull on the clothes of people sitting at his table. Or Helen Duncan, who was discovered to be producing fraudulent ectoplasm out of cheesecloth and using dolls to pass as apparitions under the cover of darkness. Several mediums have graced the television airwaves in recent years, and a great deal of controversy continues to surround the practice.
She says, "This is how I want my parents to remember me. Always joking around or kidding around and dancing, because that's the way I am on the other side."
Are there those among us who can speak to the dead? Or are they all phonies with a gift for cold reading, the practice of picking up valuable information in what seems like idle conversation?
Because it's like his hanging out with this family, this family's brought to by this family. Okay.
Yeah.
Just know that they see this as their way of coming through and they're very excited to be able to do this for you.
If any legitimate mediums do exist, They have to face the analysis of skeptics, like those who created this video from Ron Tebow and SciFake.com.
Look, you don't have to acknowledge it. I don't care. I don't care if you believe in what I do. That's not what
It was created to try and expose the star of Long Island Medium as a con artist.
And anybody can easily predict the obvious observation that Caputo is about to foretell. Watch and listen to the perceivable.
Somebody lost a spouse newly, and someone also lost a sister. And someone is also wearing the mother or grandmother's religious articles, whether if it's like a miraculous medal, a cross, rosary beads, or they brought them with them. Who lost the spouse? I think I'm right.
Another popular format for paranormal television series is to have witnesses to supposedly true supernatural experiences relay their stories in an interview.
Today, the Johnsons are still trying to cope with their haunted lives.
It's your worst nightmare.
The situations they describe are paralleled by actors.
Mommy, I'm cold.
There are many different types of ghostly reality shows, and even variations on the types already listed. For instance, in addition to listening to regular people tell you their ghost encounters, you can listen to celebrities tell you their ghost encounters.
No form, really, but it's a white light, and it zooms down. And it was very quick. I realized this was not the counselors. This was something that I've never seen before, ever in my life.
Instead of watching normal paranormal investigators, you could watch celebrity paranormal investigators.
In a world where celebrity is king, comes a new show where the famous are forced to investigate haunted locations.
I gotta go up there by myself?
Years after the battle, Joshua Chamberlain was asked again about the stories of a ghost on the Gettysburg field, to which he said,
"Yes, that report was circulated through our lines. Doubtless it was a superstition, but yet who among us can say that such a thing was impossible?"
Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. A population of over 7,600 men, women, and children. And possibly hundreds of spirits. They all dwell here, year after year, and welcome all who come to see them.